In this video I'm going to talk about whether or not modern herbal extracts are really like pharmaceutical drugs, and whether or not we might just be better off taking herbs in their whole raw form. Now, of course, some herbal extracts are very much like pharmaceutical drugs and some are not. Some herbs are better eaten in their raw form and some are not. So for us to make blanket statements like you should do this, you must do this, this is the right way, this is better than this, is really silly and ignorant to do. And some people are actually out there saying that, you know, you're bad or you're harming yourself or you're taking drugs or you're damaging your organs by taking any kind of an herbal extract. And to me, that's just a little extreme and not really balanced, not really grounded, not really based on anything that actually makes sense other than the thing that, okay, well, in nature, if I'm walking in the forest, I can't, I just have to eat it raw. Sure, has a degree of common sense to it, but we can actually get a lot more effect in a much more intelligent and cost-effective way and have to take a lot less by using other strategies. So sure, we can be kind of a Luddite and say, this is the way it's always been done, and this is what I should do, and this is how it's always going to be. Or we can say, hey, you know what? We've got all these tools around us, and we can utilize them, and it's great, it's fun, it's much more effective, and we can get a lot less effort expended and a lot more return for our investment. So again, some modern herbal extracts are like drugs, wherein they take one simple chemical, one active ingredient, and they only focus on that chemical and they try to get the percentage of the overall extract of that chemical to be so high that they ignore the other chemicals that are around it and just focus in on one thing. And that's very much like a drug, and typically it's not something that I'm really a fan of and something that I really tend to play around with. So what I do recommend and what I do use is concentrated whole plant extracts. Meaning it's just like making a tea. Everyone pretty much agrees that making a tea is a very effective form of ingesting herbal constituents, of ingesting herbal medicines. So having a concentrated extract is basically like that, wherein what happens is they take 8 pounds, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, whatever it might be, of whole herb, and they concentrate that down, they boil that down into 1 pound of extract. So in your half teaspoon, 1 teaspoon of extract, you've got a lot of active constituents, a lot of plant matter that's been concentrated into that, with the benefit of having all the indigestible fiber and the lignins and chitin and all of these things that are indigestible to our body have been kind of removed so that we can just get the goodies without having to actually harm ourselves and eat a bunch of things that aren't really digestible for our body. And of course, some herbs you can just eat raw. Some herbs like holy basil or goji berry, you can just eat them raw and they're fine. But if you really need to dial in and get a really herbal concentrated effect, you're gonna need some sort of strategy to do so. If you're working with herbs like roots or tree barks or mushrooms, you can't really just eat them. So you need some sort of extraction to free up all those constituents from their cellular wall, from their kind of matrix that they're embedded in. So again, just to reiterate, what I use, what I recommend, what I have used, what I've had the best results with is the whole plant concentrated in an extract. Meaning they don't just say, oh, we only want the polysaccharides, which some companies do, and I'm not really a big fan of that unless you really are in some sort of immune situation or that's your focus. But typically and generally what I always use and recommend is at least 8-to-1, 10-to-1 concentrated whole plant extract. So that's my thoughts on whether or not modern herbal preparations are really like pharmaceutical drugs. Because I've been seeing some people in conversation talking about, oh, well, you should only take whole herbs, you should only eat raw herbs because you take an extract, it's like a drug, it's hard on your body, blah blah blah. And I just wanted to say that it's not really true, and we can't really be making blanket statements like that because it doesn't really add up or stand up against the truth or reality of what's actually happening. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below and I'll talk to you soon.